Hello, I'm Dr. Jalen Ricks, and welcome to GaySexpert.com. In this video, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my new book, Ex-Gay No Way. I grew up in a Southern Baptist home in California, and from a young age, I recognized that there were certain attractions I had to men. I would draw superhero comic books, all with their big muscles, and I enjoyed playing with dolls. Action figures. And somewhere along the line, I realized that there was a name for people like me, and that name was not very nice. So in many ways, when my early attractions to men, these feelings I wasn't having for women, I realized I needed to hide those things. And so there was kind of a schism between what I felt on the inside and who I was presenting on the outside. After I graduated from high school, I went to a Christian college, and I wanted to fit in. I wanted to be the best Christian I could be. So I met a cute girl that I was dating, and I also met her best friend, a blonde guy that we struck up a good friendship that involved us praying for each other a couple of times a week. Well, wouldn't you know, we tried to be strong for each other. We tried to pray for each other. We ended up kind of making out. And that really brought a crisis in my life. I began to realize that if my gay sexuality was going to put at risk all that I believed, all the people I loved, that if I were to follow these feelings, that it could sacrifice all that I had built, my ministry, my connections to friends and family, I was going to do everything I could to get rid of it. I was going to do everything I could to fit in, to be straight. I got put in touch with a campus therapist, and that was very helpful for me to have someone to talk to for the first time. But I also discovered an ex-gay organization, one of the only options I could find in dealing with my own attractions and what it meant to be a Christian. So I would go once a week to a drop-in group in which I would be with other people for the first time that were gay and Christian and struggling with this. It felt so good to feel that I was not alone. And they were very supportive to me. We'd pray for each other. We would share our concerns. But over time, I began to realize, looking at the research that was there psychologically and the things that they presented, I was not really learning anything new. I had gone there to hopefully find out ways to become straight. But a lot of the tactics that they used, the methods that they used, I had been trying to do and suppress and hold things back. I've been doing it for years. Furthermore, their psychological information was rather particular. They would kind of pick and choose this paragraph, that sentence, out of studies that really would show that it was okay to be gay, that it was all right, that homosexuals were no different than anybody else in society. Now, if you're watching this, chances are you're part of the LGBT community, or perhaps you know someone, a relative or a loved one, that's gay or lesbian. So between you and me, in all my time in the ex-gay movement, and then even all the years of researching it, I can't say that I've ever really met someone who has authentically changed from a gay sexuality to being completely straight. And if you couldn't tell by now, it didn't work for me either. In fact, over the years, I have seen much more damage caused by these organizations in my own life and in the lives of others. And so in that recovery process, after coming out of that and accepting my authentic sexuality as I am, people would come to me who were coming out of the ex-gay experience, or maybe they were kicked out of their church and they just didn't know what to do. I would just type things up on a sheet of paper and Xerox it and staple it and hand it out. So now, a decade later, that I've gotten my sexology degree, I've spent the last 2-3 years writing this book. Ex-Gay No Way is my journey through the ex-gay experience and my recovery from it. It also includes many stories from other people who have gone through the same thing. It took me years to recover from all the damage that I experienced in a religious abusive environment and the ex-gay ministries. So this book, Ex-Gay No Way, is really for those people who find themselves in my place and they don't know what to do next. It's for the people that have left the ex-gay environment and they literally have to start their life over. It's for those people that are Christian and maybe you have a relative or a friend that is dealing with their sexuality and they feel like they can't be themselves in church. It really is for anybody who's also curious about what goes on in these environments. Ex-Gay No Way is a culmination of my personal experience and a lot of hard work. It's one of my proudest achievements.